Hello guys, it's Nika. I'm back. And happy Friday. I know we made it finally. But I wanted to give you guys an update on this. How cool is that? It is almost Halloween. So I figured the shirt was appropriate, but also because yesterday, if you guys have been keeping up with the BK Idaho case, for me, of course, this is my personal opinion. I have to cover my fanny, so I have to let you guys know this is my personal opinion, blah, blah, blah. Don't sue me. I'm allowed. I'm entitled to my own opinion, and as you are as well. And I'm willing to listen to other people's point of view, so if you want to share that with me, post it in the comments. What I will not entertain are people that are emotional, okay, that allow themselves to be swayed by emotional headlines on the media. And I understand that is the majority of people. It's okay to be emotional. We are human beings. But when somebody's life is on the line, you have to set those aside. And if you are unable to compartmentalize that, then your opinion is going to be heavily biased. And that is dangerous. Okay, we all have our biases. But when somebody's life is on the line and we are not 110% sure that this person is guilty, you need to go check yourself. I'm serious. This is very serious. Because if any of us had a family member that was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and the prosecutors are withholding evidence that could exonerate your potential, soon to be unalived family member, I think then you would change your mind, right? If there's insufficient evidence to charge Bryan Kohberger, Mr. Kohberger, and prosecutors are withholding evidence, and when they're being asked, where is the evidence? Where is the DNA of the two other men? And they say, we don't have it anymore. That's highly suspicious, in my opinion. Now, I'm even more afraid, okay, for BK. Yesterday's video, I let you guys know how I feel about this lawyer, Ann Taylor. Again, I'm not saying she's unable to compartmentalize, but the fact that she has ties to some of the victims' family members is a huge red flag for me. Okay, I always like to put myself in the position of other people because it's very easy to judge people, but when you're in that position, if I was in BK's position, I would be very afraid. Not only that, but I watched a short clip of his defense team, and WTF is going on. Okay, his lawyer, I forget the man's name, all word salad. Did he fail to prepare? Did he sleep in? What the hell has he been doing with his time? Okay, he was basically arguing to change the law. Made zero sense. They were trying to get the case thrown out because there isn't enough evidence. There is not enough evidence currently to charge him. But the judge said, no, I'm gonna let it slide, and that's fine. But the way BK's defense team showed up today freaked me out. I understand that he cannot afford a lawyer, right? It's appointed by the state. So what are you gonna do? What is he gonna do? I really hope that his defense team gets their stuff together because it's not looking good for him. Even if he is innocent, it's not. Innocent, guilty, they need to actually start being a prepared defense team. And they also went to court because they wanted to talk about cameras in the courtroom. Now, don't let the media sway you. They are saying BK doesn't want cameras in the courtroom, but actually, BK, his defense team, and the prosecutors, both parties don't want cameras in the courtroom. Why? Because they're afraid that the media is going to do what the media always does, which is take a snippet of information, blow it up, get a lot of attention, and heavily sway the case. So I understand that, but at the same time, as an outsider, somebody who has zero involvement in whatever's going on in Idaho, I want to know what is going on in the courtroom. Because for me, this is showing me that our court system works. Where are our failings? Where are we doing well? What are we doing that is working? What are we doing that is not working? Cameras in the courtroom hold people accountable for their actions. But I also understand that BK's defense team is afraid that if there are cameras in the courtroom and if there are people that may come forward, they may not want to come forward anymore because there's cameras in the courtroom. Now you know the whole world is watching you. I don't know. I understand. At the same time, I am a veteran, so I'm all for our rights, including freedom of the press, including right to a fair trial. And I think cameras in the courtroom are good. So Judge said, you know what? I don't care if both parties don't want cameras. I'm going to have cameras in the courtroom, which I think that's great. You know, that's one thing he's done that I agree with. So he does want some control. He says he doesn't want it to be live streamed because that way, if they need to cut anything out, they're able to. I don't know how I feel about that. What are you going to cut out? What is inconvenient for who? Okay? It's just very disappointing to me. Very disappointing. Again, I'm not saying that he didn't do it, okay? I don't know if he did it. I wasn't there. Only the parties there know it. But I think we have to start asking ourselves more questions instead of just pointing fingers, such as, why didn't the girls call the police for 8 hours? Why were they completely removed from the list of suspects? Are you telling me that is not bias? That's bias, my friend. Okay? You can tell me, oh, they were 20 years old and they're survivors. They couldn't have done that. You're cleared. And I actually saw one of you guys post in the previous video. Gabe commented and said, well, do you think that would happen if there were 2 men? Let's say 4 people were slashed in your house and there was 2 male survivors. Let's say they're 45 in their 40s. Do you think that these 2 men would have gotten the same treatment by the police and said, oh yeah, they were in a frozen shock state. It's okay that you didn't call the cops for 8 hours. Do you think that the police department of Idaho would have been like, you know what? I believe both of you men because you're each other's alibi. Hey, my buddy didn't do it. And then the other guy, hey, did your buddy do it? No, he didn't do anything. What about did he do it? No, he didn't do anything. We were just both in the house. Didn't hear anything. Didn't call anyone. Heard weird noises at 4:17 a.m. Saw masked intruder right outside my door looking scary with a ski mask. But I just went back to my room and slept. Do you think that 2 grown men would have gotten the same treatment? No, they would have been suspects, primary suspects. So why in the world are we allowing these 2 girls? They're not girls, actually. They're women. They're adult women. We need to stop calling them girls. Number 1 rule of bias, right? It includes how you utilize language. 2 grown women, one of them who saw the intruder, went back to her room. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, that would definitely not fly with most people. Again, I understand that the police department of Idaho is lacking They're lacking skills, they're lacking brains, they're lacking a lot, okay? And I understand that most people, if they saw a 20-year-old woman and this would have happened in a house, I understand that most people would say, oh yeah, it probably wasn't them. But if you're in the police department, your job is to protect the people of your town. What are you doing? You're not doing your job. You're just going to rule them out. Not only that, but you're going to allow them to call their friends before the police department gets there and not going to question that? Okay. I think the police department of Idaho needs to be held accountable. This is what I think. And I hope they're being held accountable. I don't know what's going on in the background. Okay, these policemen need to be held accountable, because if I lived in Moscow, Idaho, and I found out that this is what my policemen in my community that we pay with our tax money, if that's what they're doing, just ruling people out, and I had children, I would not feel safe in Moscow. I don't care if they're 20-year-old women. I want to know they didn't do it. And I want to know that they were looked at as suspects. Why did you not even look at them as suspects? I'm not going to feel safe in my community. I don't care if they're cute and college students. Okay? And again, I'm not saying these girls did it or didn't do it. I don't know. But everybody needs to be looked as a suspect, including those in the police department, because apparently a cop had a screenshot of one of the IDs of the girls in his phone. Why isn't that in the news media? It is, but you have to search very deep to find that type of information. So I am here on Friday yelling at you in the phone, not you, but I'm just venting, because the failings of our justice system are just asinine, disgusting, revolting. They make me want to throw up. Okay? You need to question everything. I'm not telling you to believe me either. I'm telling you to use your brain, use your resources, and that doesn't mean all the media. I mean actual legal documents that are available to people online. Okay? Use your resources, use your brain, and come to your own conclusions. That's all I can say. So, very interesting, guys. Keep your peepers peeled for what's going to be upcoming on this case. Again, as I was scrolling through the comments, I saw a lot of people saying, well, why are you talking about this? You've never talked about this before. First of all, the topics I used to talk about on my three deleted YouTube channels are extremely taboo for YouTube, as we've seen, because if you go and talk about something that the narrative doesn't support, you will be deleted, squashed, which is what happened to me right when I started talking about the VAX. So I am curious to see, it's another social experiment of mine to see what happens, because I am one of the few going against the narrative, not because I just want to be one of those people. It's because I question things. So it will be interesting to see. And I also saw some people saying, I don't actually care about these topics. It's like, of course I care about these topics. You know why? Because there's psychology. In the courtroom, there's psychology of the suspects, there's psychology of people that weren't suspects, there's psychology behind all of this. And you guys know I have 2 degrees, 4.0. So I think my input is valid. My opinion is valid. I'm not saying it's right, but everyone's opinion should be listened to, especially when like myself, I feel like there are very few people like myself that are able to distance themselves from that, the emotion, the narrative, the sheep. You're able to actually question things, come to your own conclusions, perceive, think, act, okay, do those things. And you're going to probably peeve some people off, but at the end of the day, you know what? You always need to ask yourselves these questions and know that the truth is always very, very deep. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Maybe I'll upload this weekend, maybe I won't, but we will stay tuned and see what happens. I'm really hoping, as an American and as a proud American and as somebody who served in the military, I really hope that this man gets a fair trial. You know, that's what we stand for as a country. So, fairness, equality, okay? You would want one too. So take care now.